Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Milton Spence, and I am with Well-Rounded Consultant. I am your life coach. I am your uh, interviewer. I am your buddy, your ramily, all of that good stuff. And I'm here with Mr. Michael Kearse, and some of y'all might know him as Mike Merce. Merce Mike. Lord have mercy. I'm sorry, brother. All right, so look, man, just dive into it since I already screwed it up and let us know who you are, how we can find you and everything like
Michael Kearse here. As you all know, most of you all probably know me from Albany State. But just a nurse, man. I'm a traveling nurse. Managed to kind of weave my way into a situation where I put some bi-coastal work and trying to become a serial entrepreneur. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see which way the wind blows us. But yeah, that's it.
Cool, man. So Mike is a male nurse. He's more importantly a male black nurse. And he does bi-coastal work. And if anybody's in that realm of work and they understand what bi-coastal means, that means he's coast to coast. I mean, it's kind of easy to understand. But the fact is, Mike, if you could jump in a little bit more in detail and tell us a little bit more about what you do.
As far as the bi-coastal working, basically, slate off of time, you know what I mean, discuss with my wife how long, you know what I mean, what the schedule entails, weeks, and then that allows me to come back and come home and not really have to work how I did before. So I have anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks off, depending on, of course, what's going on and, you know what I mean, how we choose to work the schedule.
Wow. So 3 to 6 weeks off, some people would consider that a dream, but teach us how, even if it, what'd you say?
No, I'm listening.
Oh, I said, teach us how, even with that 3 to 6 weeks off, working bi-coastal, does that have any, is that taxing on you at any point, or is it a struggle with anything or anything like that?
I would say more so now for me personally, it's like me and my wife, we get it. You know what I mean? We get it. We get FaceTime. For me, it's more so an issue, and I feel bad as a father. You know what I mean? Not being able to actually be there as much, I guess, per se. But then again, I feel good because when I was home and I was working 5-6 days a week to make what I felt like was my dream number. You know what I'm saying? My dream salary or my dream, I guess, a salary. I was doing it, but I was working 5-6 days a week and I'm working at night. So it's a situation where I'm home, but I'm not really home. So this created a different scenario and allowed me to, like, when I'm home, you know what I mean? And it's not just me pretty much being asleep from this time to this time because I'm working 12-hour shifts back, you know what I'm saying, back here in Georgia. So working 12-hour shifts, get up hour or two before work, 15, 20 minutes of play, then next thing you know, you're on the road out the door. So it allows me to actually be more present and more involved. So
awesome, man. And tell us a little bit. Go ahead.
Of course, it's more money. You know what I mean?
That's where I was going. That's where I was going. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. Because I'm like, okay, so what does that mean for the income on the family? You already answered it.
I mean,
so,
they end up like tripling, you know what I'm saying, 2.5 to 3.5 times whatever I was doing back home.
Man, that's freaking awesome. You know, one thing I've known, man, is for a long time, considering the fact that I've been in the professional world for a long time, and I've noticed that anytime that you have anything that requires a lot of your time, the money most of the time is right there with it, depending on that specialty, right? So if it's something that not a lot of people jump into, they normally pay you a lot. I've always noticed careers that, I'm not gonna say that are scarce, but that are rare. But some people say, I wanna be a nurse, right? But then when they see exactly what it takes to get there, they like, wait, hold on, wait, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, because I mean, you have testing, you have things you have to know, things you have to truly understand. And to understand or know that there's people who they're asking to travel, whether it be in state, whether it be out of state, that means that maybe, I don't know, maybe we need more. Not to take anything away from you, you see what I'm saying? Because that's very good, but it's like, we probably need a little bit more in that area. And I think that's why I wanted to have you on to kind of shed light, not just on that, because I mean, sure, we could talk about your career and everything like that. And that's good. But at the same token, I want to jump into a little bit more of the personal side of things, I guess. And but before I jump into that, I wanted to ask you, you said something about being a serial entrepreneur. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah. I got a cousin in North Carolina, and she is very, very successful, humble, but very successful. And I consult her pretty often. I go to North Carolina a lot. And she's like, what is it that you want to do? And I'm like, man, look, I want to do this, I want to do this, dabble in this, I want to run over here, touch this. He was like, I think you might want to be a serial entrepreneur. I think you actually just get off at the fact of, making stuff happen. And I never really heard of it prior to speaking to her about it. And I just didn't want to, I never wanted to be one of those people how I by no means think I'm Diddy. But I remember hearing him say something years ago how he was just like, I just closed the deal. And he was hyped. And he was just like, don't tell me I can't do anything. And I remember in the interview, he was just like, people said, okay, do this, stick to music. You know what I mean? I'll stick to being an exec. And then he tried to rap, stick to music. Don't do this, just do this. And next thing you know, he had a clothing line. Next thing you know, he's in real estate. Next thing you know what I mean? And one venture allows the opportunity to spread yourself out to other ventures. And I pretty much want to do it just basically because, man, what I've come to notice is like, if you don't see anybody who looks like you who's doing it, a lot of times it's not a reality to you. So I don't want to be the guy, and nothing against the guy who does it, but I don't want to be the guy who comes in a suit and blah, 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 blah. And you know what I mean? And not that that's bad, but I want people to be able to relate to me. I want people to see me for who I am. I don't, like, sometimes you got to put on a suit to get into the door. But after that, man, let them people see who you really are, because a lot of times people don't feel like they can identify with you if you're not speaking to them at their level or from their level.
And so being that you look like me and being that we look like each other, I think we can influence each other on a level beyond just being serial entrepreneurs, because I myself like to kind of pride myself. I never even thought about it like that myself, but I dibble and dabble in a lot of different things too. Some things I don't necessarily put out there because it's a work in progress, and I don't ever want to try to make it as if I'm bragging on anything or I'm whatever, because I'm forever a student. I'm a student of the game, so I try to learn any and everything. And I think one of my faults is that I got to know everything about everything. Some people are like, man, that's pretty good. And I'm like, man, you don't know how hard of a struggle that is, because when you don't know one thing, you get hung up on it. Dang, and all you got to do is just keep moving, right? You just got to keep moving. I think I got that from playing football for so long, and I was real intricate on detail, like, okay.
Knowing the game.
Huh?
Knowing the game plan, yeah.
Knowing the game plan, but it's that, but it's also my opponent, right? So how do I know he's going to give me an inside move where he tilts a little bit, or his hand is placed this way when he goes give me an inside move, or he does this with his feet? Those little things used to irk me. So I used to watch film for hours just to kind of pick up on any little thing I could. And sometimes, man, it would be it would cripple me, because if I couldn't find something, I know the game plan, bro, but man, I'm looking for that one thing to get that edge or that advantage. And I didn't realize that my edge and my advantage was that I had already prepared so much for the game itself to be ready. So as an entrepreneur, right, and as a person who travels, and most of all, a husband and a father, those things above all, how is it that you can say, or
You broke up just for a second.
Oh man, I said as a husband, over.
You broke up for a second.
All right, we're back. We had some technical difficulties, Wi-Fi and stuff like that. Now we're back. So I was saying, as an entrepreneur and as somebody, like I said, we look like each other, and we can relate to people who are looking at the screen who look exactly like us. What would you say, or what would be that advice you would give to somebody who is also a husband and a father, or wants to be one, and they have all these ideas and they don't think that the family can fit into that?
I think it's just that, man. One of the key things is family. You got to look at the dynamics. You have to look at the situation. You know what I mean? Every situation is not built for bi-coastal working. Every situation is not built for a lot of working. You know what I mean? So I think really, man, you got to be open, honest. You got to discuss it with your partner and make sure that they're on board. Of course, my wife, she saw it from a perspective of, no, you will be here. You know what I mean? Again, I was here, but I wasn't present. I wasn't here. So, again, it allows so much more time. And for the kid, man, I never planned on this being long term. Like, it's actually gone for a little bit longer than I planned on it. I'm approaching 2 years. But he's at the age, man, he knows I'm gone. He knows I come back. But as long as I bring him some airplane cookies, it's brought my cookies. So, as long as the airplane are brought back, man, he's happy right now. So as long as I can still do my duties as a man, you know what I mean, and do what I'm supposed to do, and of course be present more, which it allows me to do, it's working out right now. And then also too, like, it's because my wife, like, it put us in a position where my wife didn't have to work. Like, we had concerns about, and I'm pretty sure anybody who has seen, you know what I mean, the media reports, like, not all daycares, but there have been instances where kids aren't treated how they're supposed to be treated in the daycare. You know what I mean? You go to pick up your child's dead, nobody knows it, the child has been hit, there's videos, this, that, and the other. And we just, with her working in childcare for such a long time, it was just like, man, I don't know how I feel about sending him somewhere. I should see, you know what I mean? And you do what you got to do when you got to do it. But if we could afford to not send him to daycare prior to him being able to fully verbally express himself, we didn't want to do it. Then, because she loves teaching and working with kids so much, it's just like, we just kind of continued it. You know what I mean? He was right. Excelling, still social. He was able to do activities. He's getting more one-on-one attention than he would possibly get, you know what I'm saying, or most likely get in a daycare type situation. So it was just like, oh, let's continue it. You know what I mean? And also too, it gave us the free reign to come and go and travel how we please. So if they want to come out there, they can come. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you want to up and take a trip, like, we're going to Savannah in a couple hours. Like, if you want to go up and take a trip, we can go, and it's not constrained to, oh, we paid for daycare this week, and you don't want to go to waste and blah, blah, blah. So, because, I mean, that's real. You don't want to spend your money.
Yeah, man.
Not use it. So, it allowed us a lot of freedom as a whole, and I'm super appreciative of that.
And I tell you what, man, just listening to that, it lets me know that, you know, sure, we see the end result, but we don't necessarily know the day-to-day or that grind that it took to get to that point. And I would, you know, advise anybody who sees this to understand that it's never easy to get to a specific point, but once you get there, you manage it where you are at that moment. And then from there, you continue to try to grow from that point and get to another point where you want to go. But in order to get there, you have to have some aspiration. You have to have some drive. And I, being a father and a husband, yeah, I can say my family and my son and my daughter are my drive, but I'll tell you the truth, man. And sometimes when I get into a real dire straight situation, when I'm trying to close that deal or when I'm trying to do that thing, brother, it's not that I'm not thinking about my wife and son, you know what I'm saying? But I got a little bit something more in here that's like, I gotta do this because I want to do it for me and I want to do it for them. So talk to us a little bit about that drive that's within you, man, that keeps you going.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you. I don't think it has to be just one reason. You know what I mean? It's more than one reason why I do nursing. If they wasn't cutting the check, I probably wouldn't be going to do it. You know what I mean? I like it. I'm good at it, but no. So if we're honestly speaking, man, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of reasons, man. Again, me coming up, I went to a public elementary school. My parents, thank God, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate them for everything they did. They didn't see middle schools that they felt like and my dad was a public educator. So they didn't feel schools that they felt that should, you know what I'm saying, would suit me, put it like that. And so I went to private middle school, and then I went to a Catholic, like mainly a white Catholic high school. And I saw, I think, like coming up that way, and then still having cousins in the hood and the projects, it was like,
yeah,
I saw a lot of different perspectives, you know what I mean? And I looked at it, I guess, outside in, but at the same time, inside out. from a lot of different circles. And number one, as you grow older, you start to see like who takes advantage of opportunities, who doesn't. You know what I mean? And then you start to see the results of that. So it gave me a perspective like, okay, look, I want to excel. I was always competitive. I wanted to play ball at a young age. My parents wouldn't let me to like 9th, 10th grade. So I was in baseball, you know what I'm saying? I was in basketball from a young age. So competitiveness was always there. And I think that's huge for kids. Like, I feel like it brews something up inside them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So competitiveness was always there. And then also that tied in with just seeing, okay, this cousin's doing this. Okay, this cousin's going to jail at this age. Okay, this cousin's selling dope, but this homeboy's selling dope. But he done got locked up. No, I don't think I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I want to do this and I shouldn't, but so it just, I don't know, it created a lot of different perspectives for me to look at. And in turn, like, I think that created a lot of my whys. You know what I mean? Again, my dad was different out of all of his brothers. And again, I thank God for it. So I saw things through him that my cousin might not have seen from his pops. You know what I mean? And so it created a situation where, okay, my dad was an educator, but I saw him hustling. I saw him at one point work 2 jobs to start his business. To where he really didn't have to work this job at all, but he still, you know what I'm saying, he made it work, and then he started this business and started this business. So also too, man, my pops, my granddad is, you never know it, you know what I mean? But he's a multi-millionaire, and he got like a 7th or 8th grade education. I got another uncle who was like straight dope head, bro, and he now has a very successful business. So just seeing all of these entrepreneurs in the family and like realizing, okay, I've been provided a much better opportunity than they not necessarily have been provided, but took hold of. And if they can do it, why can't I do it? Like, I have no excuse whatsoever. You know what I mean? And so I think for some of the personal reasons is that. And then again, also, man, just being that example, like if I would have saw somebody at a young age who was a CRNA or in anesthesia, my mind would have been totally wired. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be right now retaking classes that I took at Albany State just to get by.
Right.
So I can get in anesthesia school. So like the perspective is just different, man. So if I can just like be a beacon of light to these people who want to do whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think so. Because it's not always there. Those examples are not always there in certain environments.
Cool. And then when you look at it too, just listening to you, it's like, wow. So he has every male figure in his life that looks like him, and also teaching him through, whether it be indirectly or directly, how to get to where you need to be. And if you need to get to this is what you got to do. And look what I had to go through. And then you have the knuckleheads who don't necessarily do those things, who have the opportunity to do it. And you're like, well, so now I see what success really looks like. And it doesn't look like something that is wrapped up in a pack and given out to the community for a certain amount of money, right?
Not
for most. And I would even say this, man. I grew up in College Park, Georgia, and that's, I grew up in East Point in College Park, Georgia, and I saw the same things. My father passed away when I was 8 years old, so I didn't have an opportunity to grow up with my father. My uncles and things of that nature, they were kind of like, they were more successful women than anything, man. That's pretty much their thing. They was just players. I ain't going down that road. But anyway. Exactly. That's pretty much what they did. Now, as far as seeing somebody successful in business, the only thing that kept me motivated or kept me going to be straight, man, is I would look at men such as my favorite at the time, football wise, was Emmitt Smith. I used to love watching him play, and I used to listen to how he spoke after games, and the way he spoke kind of made me feel as if he had an understanding of success. He was a humble guy. He wasn't too full of himself, and you could just tell he worked hard and had an opportunity to play for one of the most solid football teams that we know. And then, on the educator side, I had a gentleman in my middle school by the name of Mr. White. He started this group in my middle school called Distinguished Gentlemen, and I was a part of that group where we taught, he taught us how to be gentlemen in every facet, whether it be business or whether it be to a lady or whether it be man to man. And that right there changed my life. And then when I got to high school, I had a coach that came to us my 11th grade year, and he took me under his wing because my 9th and 10th grade year, I was a hothead. I was full of cockiness, all of that stuff. I'm the man, and I'm this and that. And then when I got to college, and everybody could play, it set me down. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, who the heck really am I? I got to rediscover who I am. And then, being around, I grew up kind of like yourself. I grew up mostly, and then when I got older, I went off and I went to more predominantly Caucasian high school and things like that. But then when I went to Albany State, it's everybody. We all the same. Like, oh, snap. And I wasn't necessarily tuned into my culture, and I didn't know that. I thought I was just as black as they came because at my school, I was as black as they came. You see what I'm saying? But then when I got around other black folks, I was like, wait a minute, I ain't that black. You know what I mean?
First, I think too, it's crazy that you say that, because one thing that I always tell people, man, I think in marriages, friendships, relationships, I've had friends who have had successful relationships. I've had friends who have had not so successful relationships. And the one thing that I learned at the beginning of college, man, probably like a year or two into college, I think we go to college like expecting, or not even just college, again, because we're talking about marriage and all that stuff too. Like you go into situations expecting that everybody was raised just like you. You know what I mean? Like your perspective is, that's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the person from that perspective, they're supposed to know this, they're not supposed to know this, you're not supposed to do this. And I think that's where like all the riffs and the raps come in various situations, because it's like, dude, this is way different. Like how you realize, you know what I'm saying, you thought you was as black as they come. That's what I realized, man. I was just like, I literally felt like everybody grew up just like I did. You know what I mean?
And they didn't know.
You start to realize that in college. So that was first 2 years of college was really eye-opening from that perspective. I felt, honestly, I don't know about others, but I tell my parents, like, I was blessed enough for them to pay for it. You know what I mean? And like, I tell them, I'm like, I can't tell you academically anything that I got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things that I did get was like that social maturity, man. I feel like it was very, very, very important. So I don't know who I've become now, or am becoming, or I don't know if I've become who I am becoming or what, but it was important.
Right. And we were all there for a reason. We were meant to be there. You know what I mean? We were meant to interact. We were meant to, whether it be for a little bit or for a long time, we were meant to be there, see the things we saw and do the things we did. Now, when it boils down to it, and now you're a family man, we know for a fact you're a serial entrepreneur. You're a male nurse, a male black nurse. You travel bi-coastal. The family fits into it well. You learn success from your family and everything like that. Most of all, you learned it from the men in your family, which is, that says a lot. That's something that says a lot more than I could even expel in this, recording. I think wholeheartedly, man, that, what people really need to hear from you is not just how you got there, not just the success story, but man, you're there now. What are you doing to get to that next level? What's that next level look like for you?
The next level, I want to create a situation. So of course, I'm doing it bi-coastal. It's cool. It generates more money than I probably ever saw myself making this soon, I guess. But it's rigorous. You know what I'm saying? It's, regardless of if it works out for us, it's still, I don't like hopping on that plane. I get sad when it's time to go. You know what I mean? I'm still leaving my wife, still leaving my child. So it's rough, man. So I would be able to do what I'm doing now, you know what I mean, and be home in the South. Obviously, West Coast pay, I go out there because money is a huge factor. So West Coast pay is much better than pay in the South. They got unions, they got a high cost of living, so those two things factor in. Great. And so I'm trying to create a situation basically like with the anesthesia. If I want to do nothing else entrepreneurial and just work for a hospital, then I can be straight and be here and be home. You know what I mean? Also, too, I just think for my mental sanity and well-being, nursing is rough, man. It's rough dealing with all these different personalities. It's rough dealing with the metrics being pushed by administration. It's rough dealing with the customer service aspect that's thrown into everything. Because I think, I don't know about women, it seems from my experience that a lot of men go into nursing for like medical, you know what I'm saying, the science portion behind it. And then you got this whole, can you fluff my pillow? I'm like, nigga, you better
love your own pillow.
You know what I mean? Like, you Vaseline my feet, like, bro, you ain't put Vaseline on your feet in 6 years. Like, what you talking about? Like, I'm not doing it. So, like, I'm starting. I'm just being honest, man. I'm being honest. Got to tell the good and the bad. So I'm starting to see a lot of that, and like, man, I don't know if it's for me the way bedside is going. So I'm trying to level up, and also too, man, just mentally and educationally, I want to step it up a notch. You know what I mean? And so anesthesia would be that next step. What's crazy is because not a lot of people know this, but I want to drop out of school after my freshman year. And I'm not sure if you even knew this or not, but I want to drop out of school, man. And I want to go work for the ports to be a longshoreman. I'm gonna make $20-some now. You couldn't tell me that wasn't the way, that wasn't the truth and the light. Yeah. And, at that time, my dad had a friend who was an anesthesian. He was just like, "Why don't you look into this?" I'm like, no, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he is like, geez, what was that, 2005? It's 19 now, so a lot of years later. Wow. You know what I mean?
Here we are, yeah.
Yeah, back on track. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. I think that's also another testament. It's actually speaking to me right now and let me stop worrying so much about certain things. But it's a testament that where you're supposed to be gonna end up there. You know what I mean? Or back on that path. Because that's crazy. 13, 14 years later. And
yeah. Here we are.
You know what I mean? A lot closer. But still got a little bit of work to do. But yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
And I tell you what, man, one thing. Go ahead.
But also too, I want to use that anesthesia situation to just create more, you know what I mean, more entrepreneurial ventures. A lot of people just want to go into anesthesia just to work in the hospital. That never once was my, like maybe for a year or two, but that never once was my end goal. You know what I mean? Some people are like, I want to do this job, but I want to work here. No. I always wanted to have my own group. And you know what I mean? Turn into something else. I looked at that option because you can go into work in the hospital and you get paid very decent. You know what I mean? But then also too, you can send other people in the hospital and not do anything and enjoy your life. And you know what I mean? Kind of put the ball in your court versus having to do what these businesses tell us to do, or what, you know, so many people tell you to do. Go to school, get a job, do this. You know what I mean? So right now, my function, man, I love being a dad. I love being a husband and a family man. I love my family. And so I want to enjoy them while they're here. I don't want to wait till I'm 50, 40, 50, 60, you know what I mean? To finally retire and hope that I can do what I want to do.
So, I mean, that's awesome, man. And to hear you say you're going to level up and take it further, you've now come full circle to something that was introduced to you back then. I think what happens to a lot of us, especially men, we have this thing, it's called pride, right? Mm-hmm. That won't allow us to see beyond our own self or see beyond our own limits. And maybe you just didn't see yourself as that. Now that you're working in that, you see yourself doing that and you're like, this is definitely what I'm going to do. And now you're having another idea, say, well, look, I'm going to become an anesthesiologist broker, pretty much in a sense, right? So, I mean, you talk about evolution, revolution, you talk about full growth and maturity of a person to where they are now. And I think what happens too, a lot of us men, when we get into a point of fatherhood, to be that example or that living word or that living truth to our seed secretly, and sometimes for most of us boisterously, is a big factor to why we keep going further and further. And you said it, maybe I've counted maybe 21 times since we've done it. I'm weird like that, but you said I want to be home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And so with you wanting to be home, that also lets me know that your son is a huge part of who you are and how you are and where you are. And I think wholeheartedly from what I know, when he becomes, starts to figure out who he is and what he wants to do, you're going to have the tools to help guide him in that a lot sooner then you got there, because you'll know, look, when I was, 2005, this is what happened to me, son, and I didn't listen. So make sure that you open your ears that you may hear, so that 14 years later, you're not like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing exactly what he said I should have did. Dang, if I could have been here already, then this would have been da 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 da. But then even in that, he's going to have his own path and his own times. And I just, looking at my own son, I have things that I know for a fact he is going to screw up. I just know it, because it's like, man, your dad's the same way, bro. I still ain't got that right, but I also know there's things that I'm also gonna be able to warn him against and help him in the way of saying, look, if you really want, like, everybody keeps asking me, you gonna have him play football? I said, man, look, my son is gonna do whatever he is great at and very good at. I said, I don't want him just to play football because I played. I don't want that for him. I want him to be and do something that he loves, so he's not wasting time. I love being on the field. I loved it. I loved that part of my life. When it was over, guess what? It was over.
Yeah.
I had to move on. Although on Sunday, sometimes I get myself in a mind frame like I'm about to play, which I ain't. But the fact is, I'm there, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that game. Sometimes people don't resonate with that because they don't realize that football is bigger than just downset hut, tackle, first, second, third. It's a lot of life lessons in it. And the biggest thing that football taught me, man, most people say perseverance. I say the biggest thing football taught me, man, was no matter what, sure, that's part of perseverance, but no matter what, you gotta keep going. No matter how tired you are, if you know you're doing the right thing, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep pushing. You see what I'm saying?
It's odd that you that you brought that up. I planned on speaking on that, but kind of forgot. That's the only thing that's gonna keep you going, man. Literally, like it sounds repetitive, but if you don't stop or if you don't quit, I'll say that they can't stop you. Like nobody.
Nobody.
Any situation, whatever it is. I literally, like, there are times when I go out to California, I'm like, man, we got this saved, we can do this, I can do this, I might can flip this. I ain't got to go back. You know what I mean? But it's so many times where you want to quit, man, but also I think it draws back to faith and perseverance, man. And perseverance is a part of faith, you know what I mean? If you know there's something better coming and you know that you're working and putting in the work, it's gonna come. I think it's just preparing this meeting opportunity. There's some things that, even from speaking, man, there's some schools just being totally open. There's some schools I know that I probably should have gotten into. Are there people who I know in school who failed out? There's somebody who I know, man, I could put a piece of paper in front of them and say, look, right, this paragraph, right, the proper paragraph. Give you $1 million. Juggle wouldn't be able to do it. And so I'm like, why am I not in school? You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? At this time, man, it may be time for something else. It may be, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes God protects you from yourself. So can't quit. Got to keep going. I've applied to a couple schools I've not got in yet. My time is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming, I'm sure. And in the meantime, I'm just steady working and preparing myself. But even like, bro, something happened with the nursing program where they graduated the class and the percentage wasn't good. So they had to stop a program and restart a program at Albany State. So I had to change my major because my mom was like, I'm not going to pay for you to sit around and wait for something that might happen. So, you know what I mean? Then I went to Darton after I graduated. And parents are still paying for school, mess around, fail the class. Well, okay. You had your chance. When you gonna keep paying that?
Yeah.
Right? So then that happened, man. Failed another class. You're supposed to be kicked out of school. And a little unsuspecting lady pulled me to the side. She was like, listen, you need to do this, write this appeal. This is how you need to structure it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Did the appeal. I'm back in school. Man, and so many situations like that have happened. And it would have been, hindsight, it would have been almost too easy for me to give up. But again, I don't know if it's because of my upbringing. I don't know if it's because in the back of my head, I know that people did it who didn't have the opportunities that I did. All I could do is, like, the worst thing I could do is try. You know what I mean? If I didn't try, it's like getting a no anyway. So shoot your shot. But yeah, man, you just can't quit. I feel like I'm about to start going off on a tangent, but you can't quit. You can't quit, man. I don't think the world is built for people who quit. You know what I mean? The things you want aren't built for people who quit. I'll say that. Success isn't built for people who quit. Because if you quit here, man, it's always gonna get tougher. You know what I mean? If you quit them sprints back and forth.
Yeah, bro. You already know what time it is then.
You won't go to the game. So
you don't want that problem.
It's just how it is, man. You can't quit. You can't quit. I think that has to be ingrained in people. Even if you're going 1 mile an hour, man, some type of progress, keep going. Because I look back at a lot of people who quit, and I'm glad that I kept going too. You know, not that I'm better than them, but for me, in my situation, I'm glad that I kept going and kept pursuing what it is that I'm trying to do. Can't stop, won't stop. Can't
stop, won't stop. That's right. I tell you what, too, man. You know, you look at it and you didn't quit. You're here, man. Most of all, we appreciate you for being an example to us, brother. And not just that, dude. You know, having those aspirations, brother. I'm gonna tell you. Sure, you're applying. It's the same thing. I give you my story real quick. When I was applying to go into my PhD program, which I'm in now, it was tough to get in. I'm not gonna lie. It was very tough, very stringent. They put a lot on you in order just to be able to get in. You're like, God, dog, when I get in here, do I want to be in here? Like, it's taking forever. Like, it was many times as I'm writing these essays in order to get into school, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this. It's just, you know what I mean? But it's just like you. It would always be, and I always like to say, it was always a guardian angel in some form or fashion that came upon me and said or guided or pushed. It may have been somebody in the grocery store, or it may have been just a random, like it was one guy, one day I saw him, I was at a business meeting, and he said, man, no matter what he said, no matter what it is, he just looked at me like, no matter what it is, man, just keep doing it. It's going to be good for you later. I'm like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? He don't know, but it's those little things. So my mom always says, somebody praying for you, right? Me personally, man, I honestly believe, when you're meant to do something, there's going to be everything or everybody around you who's going to be trying to knock you towards that path. But if you don't have your ears and eyes open to hear and to see, then you're going to miss that opportunity. And maybe it's not that you wouldn't have tried, but it's just you weren't aware.
Yeah.
So how is it that you can say that, because I mean, I put it like this, I know somebody, they have taken the nursing exam a couple of times and failed it and quit. Send them to okay. They failed and quit.
I failed the first time too.
Okay, so there you go. So I looked at this person and I said, look, yeah, you might have failed twice or whatever. I said, but guess what? Could it be that at that moment you weren't meant to make it in? It could be. Or could it be at that moment you weren't 100% focused, so you would have made it in, but you would have screwed yourself. Always keep an open mind to understand like where you are at the moment you're trying to make a step. Are you ready for the step? Is the step ready for you? That's how I always think about stuff. Are you ready for that step? Step ready for you. So even when it came down to marriage, am I ready for that step? You know, obviously marriage is going to be what it is, but am I ready to take this step? Yeah. And what I realized, like, even when I chose my wife, right? Like, that's a choice that I'm making. So I'm also choosing everything that comes with it, regardless if I know it or not. I got to go through it.
Yeah. That's real.
It's real. So it's like, and you know, the whole thing, the cliche is when you leave, you come home and you're happy to see your family. Sometimes I come home, I just want to step away from my family just for a second. Not that I don't love them or stuff like that, but sometimes I get home and I don't want to talk. Being fair.
I mean, yeah. Again, you got to realize, man, I think a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't care to know. A lot of people don't care. But even just understand the weight of what's on a man's shoulders. You know what I mean? Not to say it's any different from a mother, but I don't want to get into this debate, but as a real man, I feel like my definition of a man, you know what I mean?
There you go. There you go. That's even better.
My definition. I feel like I need to provide. I feel like I need to make sure that safety is there. So, man, we could be walking to the corner store. You know what I mean? There's certain things that that's mentally taxing on me that Mason and my wife may not even be thinking about. I'm looking at this person over here. I'm looking at this person over here. How's this person walking? Do they have a gun on them? Can I access mine fast enough? Like, right. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that I'm thinking about, and not just that situation, but there are a lot of other situations where you got to look at the whole 360 spectrum versus, you know what I mean? Just you got to look at the forest versus looking at the trees, and I think a lot of people don't fully understand that. And again, not to say that men are the only people that think that way, but just to agree with your point, I get what you're saying.
Right, and then. That and I found that I'm super protective now, more so than even my own self. And my wife don't understand. She's like, you just worried. I'm like, I'm not worried. I gotta protect. I said, it's natural. It's an instinct. I'm not, I just gotta protect. I don't know where it comes from, bro, but it's just something natural. I'm worried about things that maybe she don't see. And I'm like, what? I'm like, babe, when you do that, just make sure you keep your arm right here because it is A, B, C, D, and E. And she's just looking like, what is that? I'm like, it's just going through my head. Will you shut up? No, I'm just playing. So, but
I get it, bro.
Yeah, but that's the things that we think about. I tell her every day, I said, the reason I love dropping my kids off at school every day is because I get a chance to see the environment that they're walking in every day. And I always think about that. Anytime you've heard of something happening to somebody at their school, it's always been either when everybody's going into said building or leaving out of that building. And I'm like, if you don't know the surroundings, you don't know how your child could survive that area. To even talk to them when you get home, hey, look, if anything ever goes off in your school, you probably need to do A, B, C, D, and E, right? And if you don't do that as a dad, it's almost as if you feel like you failed them. Even if you can't be there at the moment, it's like you take on a lot where maybe your wife is just like, that's my baby, sure, but I'm trying to prevent it. So you don't have to go to the funeral and da-da-da-da-da. You don't want that. So you try to do everything that you can as a man, as you say, your definition as a real man, the same for mine. I feel like a real man is protective of his and wants to keep his safe in a sense where they can go out and enjoy their lives truly, but understanding that dad already scoped the entire scene. He know what time it is, and whatever action plan dad gave us, we know how to operate, whether that be in life, whether that be in relationships, whether it be in school or whatever it is. Dad already kind of guided us on that and let us know what time it was. So yeah, man, it's good stuff, bro. Good stuff.
I'm enjoying this. You'll be surprised. I'm enjoying this, bro.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So look, man, I know you got things to do. I know you with the family right now, so I'm not gonna hold you. But man, first and foremost, thank you so much. I'm honored that you even allowed me to do this with you. Go ahead, brother.
Now, don't let this cut off anything. We can still talk. We're good right now.
Okay, cool.
Don't let this cut off anything, because I feel like we're doing good.
Yeah, man. So, as far as with the Coach's Corner, man, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to a close here. I'm going to bring it to a close because I want us to, we can, of course, we talk when it's all said and done, man. We brothers, so, we'll talk it out. But dude, I really want everybody to understand everything Mike really outlined for us today, and as far as a man, and not just his profession, but how he has the dreams and aspirations and goals to go further than where he's at the moment. And he has drive beyond just the family. He has it within himself, and he has things that have grounded and rooted him to the point where, he's using those things. Now, this is one more thing I wanted to touch on. It just dawned on me.
Okay.
Let people know about the roots, right? So there's things in your roots that have pushed you. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but there's things in your roots that have pushed you. And there's also things in people's roots or their lives that can bring them back. How is it that you cut yourself away from those things in order to continue even at this point? Because those things, put it like this, those things in the past that are a part of you that could also let you do the opposite of what you're doing right now. How is it that you cut those things off in order to only latch on to those things that are propelling you?
And I think just number one, being clear-headed. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that smoke every day, drink every day, do this, do that. You know what I mean? And sometimes they can't cloud your judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think clear-headedness is number one. At least to assess the path and where you want to go. You know what I mean? To come up with a clear plan. Number two, a plan. And then number three, man, just vision, man. You just gotta pay attention. if I see that my uncle drank like this, you know what I mean, and it's doing this to him and creating this type of situation, I don't want to go down that path. So I got to be vigilant enough and make sure that I don't do what he does. You know what I mean? If I see Auntie Sally, you know what I'm saying, she hit that rock and it ain't doing well for her, I'm not touching no rock. It's something I'm not doing.
Right.
So I really think just vigilance, man. And vigilance, man, paying attention, listening to people. I actually took the GRE the other day. I had a question about this, about how like social environments define us. And I had to write an argument essay about it or whatever. And whatever the case, man, it was like, basically, heck yeah, I feel like social environments definitely have potential to define us. Like you have your individuals who are going to do whatever they're going to do regardless. But for the most part, most people, you can look at your social surroundings and say, okay, look, I do want to do this or I don't want to do that, and use it as a tool and a guide. I mean, obviously I found somebody who can spend a lot of time at home as a mentor, you know what I mean? And I was just like, okay, I'm going to listen to you and do what you do. You know what I mean? I've also seen people who I know will never ever be able to resign. And they're not bad people, but I don't want to go down that route. That's not what I have, you know what I'm saying, in mind for my sons. I want to be at football games. I want to be at cheerleading competition. Whenever we get a daughter, bless her, the daughter. Like it's certain things that I want to be able to be there for. My dad always said, man, if you're not making life for your children, the next generation better, it's a waste. So that's my goal. I'm trying to progress and make it better.
Wow, man, whew, that's heavy. I mean, Dad saying that, man, that would sting if like you did anything other than that.
You know, and I mean, let him tell it. He's proud as ever, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I got a lot of friends and people who are like, I'm proud of you, and I appreciate that at all. I'm not humbly accept I'm proud. I just don't feel like I'm where I need to be at. I feel like I got a long ways to go, so we're gonna keep working towards it.
And never feel like that. Never get to that point. I've always heard from any great person, they're never satisfied. Content, but never satisfied. They're always headed to something else. Man, I received a reward 2 weeks ago. I received that reward, and at the moment, I was like, man, this is awesome. And I just basically was like, all right, on to the next one. It was kind of like, oh man, this is cool. All right, on to the next one. I just kind of put that over, okay, thank you. My wife is, oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm like, okay, yeah. What's the next award above that one? That's the one I'm trying to get to now. Because it's not just that you're seeking praise. You're like, I have an actual goal, and you know the race ain't done. So some people see where you are, and a lot of times people will be around you and they say, I'm proud of you, because they really want to say, hey man, could you take some time out to show me, like, how'd you get here? Like, what did you do? You know, teach me how you did that. And you'll find that sometimes if people ask you that and you really start telling them, you realize the conversation get cut a little short, or the responses on the other end like, oh, okay. Hey, man, that's what's up, man. But, hey, man, I'm proud of you, bro.
You bring up another point, man. I think one thing that I left out of that those series of events, man, is definitely find a mentor. Because, like, again, if you want to become CEO of blah, 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 you need to find a person who is on track to become a CEO, or a person who is a CEO or shadow them. You know what I mean? Or CEO of a high company. And so that's another thing that I did, man. I think people got to drop their pride, man, and like, we're prideful as men, you know what I mean? But I think there are certain levels of pride, and you gotta, if you want to learn something, ask somebody. That's a lot of times we're not gonna be the next candidate, you know what I mean? Just based off of how we look. And so you gotta insert yourself into those worlds. And yeah, but I agree with you, man. People think I'm crazy. My mama think I'm crazy. she thought I was crazy when I told her this, and my wife, like at Dartmouth's graduation, because I graduated from Albany State. So once you graduate, it's just like, oh, okay, I graduated.
Yeah.
You know, the work is done like when you finish.
Yeah.
So graduation is just a ceremony, and I'm at Dartmouth's graduation, man, and I'm sitting there like toggling in my mind, cap and gown, like, oh, what is next? What's the next?
Exactly.
Exactly. My mom was like, just relax. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I'm trying to get it. So, yeah, I definitely, I feel you on that point, man. I don't know. It's hard to explain that. It really is. But I just feel like it's work to be done. That's all.
It is. It's always work to be done. I never find a time when I'm able to actually rest. I've learned something recently, man. And the biggest thing is that I had a gentleman, is like a mentor, just like you said. And I talked to him and I said, tell me, man, what's your secret, bro? You know, because I'm always asking that question. I don't know why I say, what's your secret? Because I know it's not really a secret. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just a way for me to kind of say what I need to say without really articulating what I'm trying to really get across. I'm hoping they understand just when I say, what's your secret? So I asked him, I said, what's your secret to being confident in what you're doing? And I told him, I said, man, would it surprise you that everything that I've done so far, I've been scared, like out of my mind, like shaking a little bit on the inside, but like staying cool. Like when people talking to me, I'm cool, but really on the inside, I'm like frantic. I am nervous. I'm afraid. He said, you want to know what has helped me a lot? And I was like, what's that? He's like, cool. And you said it before we got on. He said, I just know when I'm in the right place, I'm not going to fail. He said, I know I'm not going to fail. He said, no does not mean failure. It just means not right now. You know, he said, or find another way, find another route. It doesn't mean 100% no. Uh-oh. Give me a second. It says my internet connection is.
Yeah. No, I heard everything you said. I absolutely agree with that, man. It's just I don't know, man. A lot of qualities that teachers and growing up, a lot of qualities that teachers said were bad qualities and stubbornness and different things like that. Like, yeah. But what I can notice now is those things tend to help me in adulthood and in life. Like, you're not finna tell me no.
Yeah.
You just not on no. I don't know bad stuff. You know?
Exactly. Right.
You're not about to tell me that I can't do this. Like, if there's a will, there's a way. There's a whole name. Yeah, I don't even remember his name, but I remember him saying that. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm sitting here thinking about an actual turning wheel. You know
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just you can't. There's a way, bro. There's a way, and there's somebody to help you. You get 1,000 no's. I know it's cliche. You never heard it, but all you need is that one yes. You can't stop, brother. I feel like the world's option or the world's goal, the nasty world's goal is to make discouragement. You know what I mean? So you got to prepare and arm yourself to get a bunch of no's. Like, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen.
And you know what I've also learned too, man, is brutal honesty with yourself and brutal honesty with others has taken me a long way. Like, not beating around the bush with myself and not beating around the bush with other people has taken me far. And I've had people respect me so much more in a business sense. And my wife, I mean, some men will tell you, man, if she look good, or if she look fat, just be like, nah, you know, boost her ego. And I told my wife when we first met, I said, hey, you know, I just want to tell you something before like we really get deep into this thing. I said, I've been practicing on this. Exactly. Air traffic control in the back, like, don't do it. Right. I told her, I said, I've been practicing this honesty thing, right? And I said, you know, I just want to let you know, if you ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you the truth, but I'm not gonna say it to hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell it to you like the way I see it. I said, and if you find me talking about it further than I need to, that's because I know it's gonna hurt your feelings when I say it. But what I've gathered is this. There were some things I said to my wife, and there were some things she said back to me, personality-wise, character-wise, mentality-wise. Initially, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, who the world she thinks she's talking to? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then later on, there was a form of respect because it's like she respected me enough to tell me the truth. I worked on that, and this is how it has helped me in these parts of my life. Like,
I think that's a beautiful thing, man. I feel like that's a beautiful thing. I feel like it's needed. I try to take that approach as well. I take that approach with a lot of things as well.
Yeah.
And it messes me up, not so much at home, but like at work. And I got to kind of, you know what I mean, gear myself like out there, because the world and just, I don't know, I think diversity training and inclusion is huge too. But like, if you're a black man, if you're a big black dude, I had a beard not so long ago, like, if you're a big black dude with a beard, bro, it's like, you say no, or I don't like that, or I'm not helping you, or I don't agree. Like, me saying that is like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? And I never came off that way. That's how you perceived it. You know what I'm saying? No, you know it's true. So, like I truly feel like being upfront and honest is the quickest way. Like, feelings are hurt here, but you already know what it is. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's this. Yeah. So I like any kind of resistance, like, I don't know, I be having to balance that, because like any kind of resistance is like,
right, yeah. Like, what? Right.
Shit, I just said no. I don't hate you. I'm not about to fight you. I just said no.
Right.
But yeah, man, we trying to practice that a lot too, man. Like, this, I just feel like I'd rather you be mad now and then it curbs our relationship for the better later on than
boom investment. Yeah.
And it's like, your spaghetti really ain't that good.
You know what I tie that to too, man? You got an entrepreneur mindset, and entrepreneurs know one thing: in order to invest, you just got to invest, and then you deal with the long term after that. Like, if your investment, sure, you bought like I hate to go back to it, man. I know it's gonna sting you a little bit, but the $7,000 property, bro. Oh God, $7,000 property. Imagine you buy that property. You know you're going to incur some other investment into your investment. You already know. But you make it understanding that this is the return. Right? So it's like, how do we invest in our lives understanding that this is return? And some people, man, they don't move because they don't see how, when they invest this little thing, like what it's going to bring back to them. Because some people like, oh man, if I make this post, I know I'm gonna get like 80 likes. But what if you only got like 2 and it's your mommy and your cousin or something like that? And everybody gonna see it and da. It's not about that. It's what are you investing in that's gonna give you a real return on investment, such as peace, love, tranquility, yes, financial stability, financial progress and growth, the things that matter, not just things that are gonna give you gratification for your emotional standpoint of like, well, I'm the man because I got this many people following and da.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that honesty point, or getting straight to the point, is not only a moral thing, but it's also one of them things like, we need that, man. Like, we need that bad, man.
That ties back to the why, man. But I mean, it's all like the why is true, but I feel like that whole, like, your why matters, because people don't understand certain things, like algorithms on social media.
Yeah.
Like, Instagram changes algorithm. It just changes it. It changes it all the time, right?
Right.
And they make little patches to fix it. So what they basically do is limit your following to make you pay for advertisement, because that's how they get money. So if I have 5,000 followers, 2 to 4% might see my content.
Exactly.
There are a couple different ways I could post, and I could, add certain hashtags into certain things to make sure that my reach goes a little bit further. But people not knowing that, like, you gonna base your whole life and how you may possibly change somebody else's life on that.
Right. Man. Come on, man. Yeah. And then when I sit up here and I got people like, I had a dude say, man, you get like, he was like, you'll post something and you might get like 5 or 6 likes. But I said, yeah, I don't purchase none either. And I told him, I said, I ain't purchased 1 follow, I ain't purchased 1 like, I ain't purchased nothing. I said, all mine is organic. And I said, but one thing you'll never say about me, bro. He was like, what's that? I was like, you won't ever tell me that I don't have clientele. I said, because I do that on social media for the people who I met in person, who look on my Instagram to see if I have actual active content. They may not like it. They may not even whatever, but they see it. They see it's from me, and they like, okay. Then they hit me on my phone. I said, put it like this. Look at my contacts. Look at the text and the emails. Look at how much my phone is blowing up, and it'll like you like it's night and day. It's night and day. Because
also, with you being a life coach, man, and a counselor, like you may hit something that touch my strings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I might not like it. Or I might not
like, man, screw that dude.
You know what I'm saying? So some people are like that. So maybe they just choose to contact you this way or that way.
Exactly.
Versus, I think people get too wrapped up in the wrong things, man.
Wrapped up in the wrong things. Popularity and all of that good stuff. I like the fact that if I got just actual business coming in to feed the family, bro, take care of the business. That's all I care about. I don't really care about the other stuff, because at the end of the day, if I get zero, like if I don't have no Facebook or no Instagram, and I was talking, who was that? I think I did. Oh, I said this when I had I think it was like maybe 3 weeks ago, I had this speaking engagement. And I told everybody, I said, you want to know the superstar who doesn't have a Instagram or Facebook, but everybody knows his name? And everybody's like, who? Like, he just won the NBA finals. Just won the NBA on the finals. I was like, who's that? Everybody, Kawhi Leonard. I said, dude has no attachment to social media whatsoever. I said, but you know his name? I said, because he got good at what he loves to do. And he made himself known only because of the fact we make celebrities, and he didn't make himself that. He doesn't even care to be one. I said, we know him because we look at him like, dang, I want to do that. I'm like, it's only 400 men that make it into the NBA out of millions that dribble a basketball every freaking day. 400. And a lot of them now are staying longer, so it's maybe 100, if that make it every year. I'm like, you got to understand, when you are really called to do something and meant to do something, you are selected out of everybody because it's for you. If it's not, it's just not. And that's okay. You may be meant to be the local celeb or whatever the case may be. You may not be ready for that national stuff, man. Like, stay in your lane, do what you meant to do, and be the best at it. And then the right people will recognize exactly who you are and what you are, because you can't take on more than you can actually take on. And yeah, being a life coach, a lot of people don't even understand what that is. Or being a counselor, you know, people understand that because they understand shrinks and stuff like that. But when you deal with people's mess, or man, oh my God, come on, man. It's more than some Vaseline on the feet. Bro, you talking about, I've been on the phone and people have literally cursed at me because you peeling back stuff. They like, whoa, hold on. I did not want you to see that. Whoa. And I got to the point when I was dealing with clients, I was very careful. And then I started realizing, hold on, this is my element. This is what I do. If I'm careful with them, I'm not doing what I'm meant to do. So I just started being honest and telling people the truth. And that in itself has gained me more clientele, because they're like, man, that dude, he gonna get you right.
Bro, it's I get it, man. It's kind of like that. You know the joke that they say, the lifeguard, the Coast Guard try to save you, and you start fighting them, he gonna knock you out.
Yeah, knock you out. Yeah.
It's a necessary evil sometimes, man. Those conversations, those layers in your case, you know what I'm saying, they gotta be had. They gotta be pulled back, because it's. Man, if people truly want to heal, man, it just has to be talked about.
Yeah, and then
but a lot of people put a pride on it. It's got to be hard. And, you know what I'm saying? Try to hide behind it. But I don't know. I mean, it probably is hard to, you know what I'm saying, go behind those layers, especially if you're self-conscious like that.
Man, look, dude, the hardest thing for somebody to do, man, and I'll tell you the truth, and is to understand you got one or two things in your life. You either got fight or flight, bro. That's it. That's all you got. You either going or you not. There's no gray area to it. Yeah. You either going to or you are not. You either telling the truth or you're lying. Well, you know, I just kind of said it like you lied. Just tell it like it is. Oh well, you know, I'm looking at it. I used to have reps all the time tell me, you know, well, I'm gonna do this today and do this. I'm like, but are you working? Are you being productive?
Yeah.
Or you just busy? That's gray area stuff, man. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna solidify this today? I don't want to hear that. Oh man, I made like 30 calls. Good for you. Like, what did you do? Call somebody. You know what I mean? What did you do? So man, you know, I look at all of this stuff, man, and I say, I'm you know, happy for you, man, and I'm gonna be one of the people also to say, yeah, I'm proud of you because you're doing it, man. You are doing it, and it's not, you ain't thinking about it. But that's what you're supposed to do. If you ain't trying, man, I'd be looking at you like, okay, yeah, we need to have this conversation offline. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not doing it. I would have to tell you, you're not doing it, bro. You're just talking about it. Or it sounds like it's just an idea. Do it, man. Yeah. Go for it. And you're going for it. And no man, no woman could ever look at you and be like, man, no. Can't nobody ever, they can't do that. Some will, sure. But those who honestly realize a person's hard work and realize a person, not just the hard work, but realize that they're actually putting to manifest or to fruition, exactly what it is that their goal is, and getting to it and going through it the day by day, man, you can't have nothing but respect for that at all. You can't have nothing. That's why we respect athletes so much, because we look at, man, they doing all of this every day. It takes 10,000 reps to become an expert at one thing. 10,000 reps. You talking about Steph Curry? He had to shoot it 10,000 times to get it from one area, bro, to become an expert at it. 10,000.
And honestly, bro, this experts in the NBA. He's the top of the top. So that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
He didn't quit, right?
Huh?
No, I said he didn't quit.
He didn't quit. Bro, he's still going. Still going. You too small. You too this. You not this. You not strong enough. Ankle injuries. All of that. But I'm still here, man. I'm gonna keep going. Oh, this is what I love to do. I don't care. My ankle's messed up. Sure, fine, whatever. Put some tape on it, man. I got it. God, dog, man. Like, come on, man. What? I'm tired. Yeah, I know. But hey, man, put me back in the game. I got it. This dude crazy. No, I'm not crazy. This is who I am.
Yeah, he enjoys it, man. I guess that's a true definition of, man, loving what you do. It's not a job. It's fun. So gonna be out just smiling.
Yeah. For real. Putting daggers in people's hearts, man. That dude, man, he a beast. But yeah, man. So, one more time, give it to us one more time. Let us know who you are, but most of all, how to get in touch with you. I ain't even started recording, but it got so good, I had to keep it going, man. We gonna keep this thing rolling.
My kid is on Facebook. I think my name is backwards right now because I'm hiding from the ads.
Yeah, man, you got some other stuff going on.
But on IG, it's official Merse, M-U-R-S-E, Mike, M-I-K-E, and Facebook, Merse Mike. Any one of those, sort of. If
you are a nurse and you are listening to this, follow this brother. This brother has not just the experience in one state, but he is bi-coastal. Okay, so he can teach you a lot, and call him if you need to have any type of consulting done or anything of that nature. He's the man. He's the one. If you've taken the nursing exam or even want to, he's the man. He just said, tell him to call me. You see, he's open. You see, he wants to help you. He wants to help you get to not just where he is, but if he can help you even propel beyond where he is. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And that's
might be able to show me something.
Huh?
It might be able to show me something.
You know what I mean? So they might get to a man. Shoot, I'm all about that, bro. Helping somebody get beyond where I am. And hey, you never know, man. They might reach back and pull up other with them. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, man? But dude, thank you so much one more time, man. I really appreciate you joining in with the Coach's Corner, man, and giving us not just your insight, but your conversation. The comedy, man, was good. And man, we'll check you again another time. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.